I run an AI automation agency, but until recently, my own YouTube channel was a failure of process. So let me just take you back to a story. It was my daughter's birthday and I'm lighting the candle on her cake and my brain is in two places at once. Half of me is present in the moment, and then the other half is running through all the content checklist. When am I gonna find time to review these scripts? The editor sent back these finalized reels that I needed to post, and my VA needs approval on what next week's research direction should be, and it was just a mess. And here I am at my daughter's birthday worried about video content work. That's when it hit me. I felt like a complete fraud, because every single video that I create for you guys, I'm standing on the mountaintops screaming that you should be automating your business. And you should have AI do this, or you should have AI systems do that. But here I am thinking about paying an agency $3,000 a month to manually research ideas, write script drafts, organize my raw footage, and upload final cuts. So that moment changed everything. And I decided right then and there that I was gonna build a system, save the $3,000 on outsourcing, get my time back, and actually practice what I preach. So I stopped and I took the entire documented workflow and that I have and replaced every single step with a custom AI system, a system that runs itself. And now, as of today, it takes less than 5 minutes to post several reels to all platforms, just with one click. So what I'm about to show you is a complete breakdown of this system, the architecture diagrams, the prompts, the engineering decisions. And if you want to build this yourself, just follow along on the logic. If you want this system when it drops, be a beta tester, stick around. And if you want us to build a version of this for your business, just visit wildfiregrowth.ai and just book a call with our team. So let's just get into it. So here we have the content management system, right? So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just going to show you kind of how it works. So this is our dashboard. Forgive me, I'm not the best designer, but I know how to build an app. So here we go. So this app has actually 3 main sections, which is uploading videos that have already been approved, the AI research so that you can just write your first draft of a script, and then mapping your footage, your raw footage. So I'm just gonna go through these 3 pieces and the architecture behind them. But let me first show you the kind of like the backbone of what I've been building this on top of. So I've been building this on top of Notion, right? So in my script hub, this is how I keep everything organized. I have our scripts, what type of content it is, whether it's a reel or a long, the status, and then where we put the raw footage. And then when we get our footage back from our editor, it goes into Final Cut URL. And then we are supposed to post it to YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, etc. Right? That's the workflow. What this does on top of it, and I'll give you an example, is right now we actually do have videos that are ready to be deployed. So let's just say VSL 3 mid-market, right? So what I'm gonna do first here as this demo is I'm gonna show you that in progress, no, in review, we have VSL mid-market 3. I'm just gonna say mid-sized business owners. This video is designed to target people with mid-sized businesses and they need AI. So we have this mid-sized businesses. You can see that it's in review status. We have a Final Cut URL. So we have a final draft and this is our raw footage. So let's go back over here. I'm gonna refresh the page just so that you can see this thing working over here. Oh, let me go back. Oh, mid-sized business owners, yeah. I'm gonna select platforms and I'm just gonna say all of them. This is gonna go to every platform. Now, previously, this would have taken me maybe like 40 minutes or something like that because I would have to download the footage from Google Drive. So over here, so I would have to go over here, and then I would have to download this footage, right? And then I would have to upload it to every single platform one by one. But in this system, now let's go back to it over here. In the system, you see that this system is processing right now. And then just in maybe less than 5 minutes, we are going to see in our Notion that this item right here, mid-sized business owners, this will not be in review anymore, but it's going to not only fill out the YouTube URL, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Facebook. What it's gonna do is that it's going to flip this status into complete. And then I'm able to check out the video. And just to prove that this system is working, right here is my YouTube channel. And what I'm expecting is for there to be a new short, right? So right now, the last date was November 21st of 2025. So today is the 22nd. In just a few, we're gonna be seeing this updated, okay? But let me just talk to you about how this entire system works. This was originally not a web application, right? What I did is that I built this system for myself just using Python. And then there was some interest in some of the groups that I was in. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, I bought the $24,000 upsell from Alex Hormozi on his book launch, $100 million models, right? And I was brought into the school group, right? So let me just show you my school group over here. Oh, you know what? Let me go over here. Safari, school. Okay, so now I'm a part of the ACQ Scale Advisory. Now what we do in this group is we just give value, like a crazy amount of value, and I'm competitive. So I was like, I'm gonna show like some real value here. So I turned this system into a web application, and that's why you're seeing the web application on my desktop over here. Okay, great. You know what? Let me see. I think we saw on jobs that this item was completed. So let me just check Notion real quick. Yeah, actually you saw that? On complete, we have the mid-sized business owners, status is complete. We have a YouTube URL, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and let's check my YouTube channel. Okay, great, look at that. Mid-sized business owners, all right? And we have our date. Let's check out what the details is. Okay, great. So we have our free resources, school.com, AI Ops, automate your business, exactly. And then the cool thing is that this description is also completely automated. It looks actually at the script that I have here. It reads the script, it reads the hook, the framework, the credibility, the proof, it reads everything here, the script. And then an AI agent optimizes this description based on the script. And it does it for every single social platform. So now that I've shown you that the system works, and I'll show you the other pieces as well, because there's two other pieces. There's AI research and map footage. Let me just kind of take you a step back and show you the 10,000 foot overview of how this system works. All right, so what's this system for? This system is to help integrate essentially 10 different APIs into one place so that when I do have a video, it uploads to all of my 5 platforms that I've stated before. An AI agent can read the script and know exactly what to write. We're talking the hashtags, the descriptions, the tags, whatever the case is. But also, this system can also do the research to first draft pipeline. So what it'll do is that it will go to Perplexity and Claude, search the web for items that I can talk about in my videos, find those topics, and then write the first draft of the script. So I'm gonna walk you through every single piece of that flow. And then the last thing is after I just say, get my AI research and my scripts made, I make a video just like this. And then I have in that SD card all the footage of the day, like maybe 50 shorts. But instead of me manually going into every single short and changing the file name and then updating, just say this raw footage column, the system does it for me. So let me just show you the entire system architecture. All right, so we have our Next.js app. So that's what you're seeing here. That's the UI. This is what the user sees, okay? And all the buttons that you're clicking. When you submit a job, which is pretty much anything that you do on the application, it's gonna talk to the database, is going to our AWS backend, because I'm not using N8N, Make, or Zapier for this. Why I did it this way is because I wanted to make it available for many people to be on the system with me, not just me. So I wanted to make it a scalable system. So this is something that I talk about with my clients often. It's just how scalable do we need the system to be, right? So it figures out how much resources is needed for the job, and then it deploys those resources. In the video upload, we have to go into Google Drive and download that footage and then upload it. Is there an AI processing required? Yes. So for our content generation, we use Claude Sonnet 4.5. The OpenAI Whisper transcription is for looking at footage, unedited footage, and mapping it to a script, okay? And Perplexity is for the AI research. And then we have a smart scheduler. So when we upload the video, we're trying, if we had 2 videos back to back that we're trying to upload, we don't want them to upload at the same time. We want them to upload maybe like 4 hours in between, just because it's better for the algorithm. So this is something that you can also change. Let's talk about the publishing platform. So we have YouTube, which is the main driver of the business, but also, and this is very cool, is there's a company called Late that, and you know what, let me just tell you this over here. Late has an API that manages all of your social media posting, but with just one API. So it's absolutely amazing. It's the alternative to Hootsuite and Buffer. It was on appsumo.com, but now that deal is off, but you can still go to getlate.dev and still be able to get yourself a subscription. And then all you need to do, and I'll just show you what that looks like, getlate.dev. I'll just go into my dashboard. What you can do is that you can connect your TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I chose to do YouTube differently because there's more flexibility when you have your own YouTube API, but you can also connect it here. LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, Pinterest, and Reddit. These are all the options that they have available with one API, which is fantastic. What that means, you can upload all of the footage with one click of a button. So in my Notion, when we talk about the Late Media ID, this is directly tied to me uploading a video onto Late, and then Late just posts that same video reference to every single social platform, but we still optimize it for the descriptions and hashtags and whatever on our side, but we don't have to upload the video 5 times. We just upload it 1 time and then just use the same reference for every social platform, if that makes sense. Another cool thing before I move on about Late, and I'm not sponsored by them, but another cool thing about Late, it's very cheap. It's like 20 bucks a month, which is super, super cool. And then another thing is that when you upload video, it will not compress your video. So that's also super important here. Let's continue on. So Late is actually going to distribute to all your social media distribution, the same way that I'm using the YouTube data API. And then after that, it will update the URLs in Notion. This is what we saw here. So as you can tell, these Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, these are not necessarily like LinkedIn URLs. These are getlate.dev URLs, because you can't get the URL immediately when you post to these different APIs if it wasn't posted today. So in our case, if we're scheduling a post for tomorrow, we're not gonna get the URL. But in Late, we still have the ability to get that URL because we didn't directly post to LinkedIn. We posted to Late. Let's keep it moving. Okay, so I just showed you kind of like what the workflow is for the entire architecture. Let's go a little bit granular. So I did have it set up here that we're gonna talk about AI research first, but then I thrusted you into video. So we're just gonna talk about video. So let's talk about the goals of video. So let's talk about YouTube Reels versus YouTube Longs, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Facebook. So we have posting limits from our APIs, but we also know that the algorithm likes certain things. So what I try to do here is make sure that not only are we uploading our videos based on the time of day, but also optimal times. So if we have, for me, I'm doing 2 shorts a day. I want them to be spread out by 4 hours, okay? If I do a YouTube long, we're doing 2 a week. We just make sure that even if I do have 16 long videos on one go, that they get spaced out for 2 a week, okay? Let's talk about Instagram. I say 2 a day, LinkedIn 2 a day, you get it. Okay, parallel upload. This is very cool because this is what's saving me the time, by the way. This is what's saving me the time because when you click this button, when you click that upload button on this screen over here, right? When you click that button, it's going to upload the videos to two places, YouTube and Late, and then it will automatically, in parallel, upload to every other social platform. So let's talk about the video upload architecture here. Okay, great. So we know that a video is ready to be uploaded when it's in review status. So like we saw before, these videos are, well, this one is in review status, this long, and I'm still reviewing it. But you see how we have like our categories, which is like long, reel, and then design. So these designs are not gonna be posted, right? But for the longs and the reels, those will show up in status review, and then it will show up on our dashboard. That's the first thing. So we can actually see what we want to post. If we even have a thumbnail, it would be on this field right here, this column, and then that would take precedence. So for a long video, a lot of times we are going to have a thumbnail. So when we have a thumbnail, right now we have it in a Google Drive. The system will download the Google Drive thumbnail, and then it will upload with your video, okay? And then it will calculate the schedules. So like we were talking about up here, right, about the schedules, it will calculate when the video should go out, okay? And then afterwards, it will get the correct URLs after they've been posted, and then it will update on Notion's platform so that we can keep record of what's going on. And then it will automatically trigger that status to go from review to complete. And then, I know I keep on saying and then, but then it will delete the local file. So this doesn't really matter for you as much, but when I was doing it on my computer only, if I would have saved every single video that I've uploaded, I would have no hard drive space. So this is an architectural design thing, but after we download and upload the file successfully, that local file in temporary gets just deleted immediately. Okay? And then it will just do that for the next video and the next video and the next video. There's one more thing that this upload flow actually does that we did not talk about though, is that when we do have a long YouTube video, we will also have chapters in that video. And that's another thing that I've been able to automate here, is when we do upload a long video, it will cut it by chapter, and then it will segment it for the user automatically. So I'm like super excited about the upload video just because this took me so much time to do. But of course, I digress. Okay, all right, let's talk about some of the other things, right? So the question is, so if we look at this comment over here, like this description here, I told you before that this description was created from an AI agent reading the script. That's where it's coming from, right? So if we look at our script for this mid-sized business owner, it says like, you're hiring to scale, but every new hire adds complexity, et cetera, right? How do we generate that content? Good question. So we have a content management system for this only. All right, so we have the video metadata. So the video metadata is like the script, right? We're gonna be using Claude Sonnet 4.5, and it's going to look at the platform-specific generation. So in our case, let's just take a look at the YouTube generator. I looked on Late, but I wasn't able to see the Instagram, LinkedIn, so that might be there, but it might show up only when it posts. So that's a possibility right now. But for the YouTube generator, we can clearly see that working. We know that there must be a prompt or some secret sauce for that engine to work. This engine kind of looks like this actually. So I have an entire prompt that maps this out. So maybe I can show you just a few. We have the content outline. It has the hook section, the problem statement, maybe a solution framework, the proof points, and the call to action. That's kind of the standard for all of these shorts, pretty much. Then it has retention patterns, which is pattern interrupt, open loops, curiosity gaps, visual markers, engagement hooks, and then it talks about the platform. And then every platform has a specific personality. They like X amount of characters. These like a more professional approach. These other ones like emojis, whatever the case is. They have platform specific requirements, and then it will just spit out that format. Let me just show you kind of what that prompt even looks like. So just give me one moment. Over here, we have, this is the backend code over here. Okay, so let's just take LinkedIn post as an example. So this is kind of what it will go through. It will say LinkedIn post, video post generation prompt. You are an expert LinkedIn content strategist specializing in thought leadership posts that drive professional engagement and reach. Your task, generate a high-performing LinkedIn post using the Quest framework and 2025 best practices. So it kind of goes into character limits, the post structure. It talks about the hook, the story, the content, the CTA, the hashtag strategy, everything. You might be also wondering what is going on with this Quest framework. Well, Quest framework is a type of hook generation framework that allows you to create like kick-ass hooks. And I have an entire documentation around how to create a really good hook. This is just like the short form of it, but it pretty much says there's a question, there's a unique aspect hook, an evidence-based hook, story, thought hook, under 150 characters, the challenge, the action, the results, and then even some examples. So this is the short version. I'll show you what the long version looks like. So we'll go into my marketing docs. I'm giving you guys the secret sauce today, you know? So let me expand this. So it explains exactly what the hook Quest framework is. Problem, results, set up the value, inject credibility, transition to middle, the checklist for intro, right? And then even some examples of every single type of hook. So it's trained on this. It knows already a little bit about how to really create a really good hook, but adding these examples really amp up what you get back because it's garbage in, garbage out with AI. That body will be split into two different parts. So it would be like, oh, this is a good hook. And then it will be, this is the description, okay? That's the format. And I have also, I also have, let me show you, no, here goes. Because I also have this topic covered here too. The hook framework right here. All right, so we have the video topic. We generate 5 different hooks. And let me move this around a little bit so it's easier to see. This is all happening behind the curtain, by the way. So forgive me for the choppiness. But yeah, so we take basically that entire framework, we give it to Claude 4.5. It's gonna generate 5 different hooks based on that script. And there's different types of hooks, question, unique, evidence, whatever. Score each hook based on the relevance to that script. And then evaluate against the criteria. It's gonna give you a score and then it's gonna select the highest scoring hook for that script. That's how we're gonna do 2 things. That's how we're gonna get the description hashtags or whatever the case is for all of the platforms. But this is gonna come back again when we create our short scripts after we do the AI research. Let's talk about the smart scheduling engine. All right, so I did say that this is happening here where we're like scheduling it 2 a day, 2 a week, 2 a day. We can always change this, but for now, let me just show you what I've done. And then I'm making improvements to the system where like, if you don't like this scheduling system, you can also change it to whatever you want. All right, so it says get existing schedule posts. So what it'll do is that just say, for instance, you already have 1 scheduled post today and you've already posted 1 video today, and then you have another 2 that you're trying to post. It'll recognize that you already have those items either posted or scheduled, and then it will just move it to the next day. So is it under daily limit or above daily limit? If it's above daily limit, then it will just move to find the next available spot, right? At daily limit, move to next day, find morning slot, reserve slot in schedule database, check weekly count because you want to be under a certain weekly count, possibly. Maybe this is more for LinkedIn than anything else, but that's what it does. It will just, based on those constraints, it will make sure that it doesn't post at the same time or like all 15 of your posts in 1 day. So that's part of the system. That's something else that we have to consider. What about upload duplicates? This happened to me a lot when I was building out the system, actually. I would upload 1 item and then I would do a test, I would run it, I would upload it again, not knowing that it's already been deployed. And then it would just not even detect it. So I built a duplicate protection flow, which looks like this. It would check the Notion page, then it would look at if there is a current URL. So that means this. If we look at Script Hub and just say, we already have a YouTube URL here, we already have an Instagram URL, why are we reposting this? Okay, fair. I ran into some other issues too, where it's just like, so we have the late media ID. So once we already upload the late media ID one time, that means that our video is already in getlate.dev. So all we have to do is just make sure that the video has actually been posted to Facebook and LinkedIn or whatever the case is. And if it has, then we don't have to do anything except for just update the URLs here, but maybe it hasn't. So we'll just allow late to just say, okay, well, you already have a scheduled ID here, just post these on this schedule. That's what the check is. The same thing for same thing for YouTube. Let's talk about error handling and retry method. Okay, so I know that a lot of people on N8N might know about this because you have to retry things all the time. For this system, it could get very complicated, when to retry, when to back off, etc. And I had to manually create a check where, what if we have an upload attempt, based on the error type, we'll know whether we need to try it again or not try it again. So in our case, maybe the auth expired, maybe there's a quota issue, a rate limiting, invalid data, or a network timeout. Like it's just taking too long. And based on those 4 different types of error types, we have a different path of what we need to take. But in all of those attempts, we need to log what's going on, and we either need to just say skip the platform, but not have it break. So just say, for instance, we have 5 videos that need to go out and one video errored out for some reason. We don't want the other 4 to also be affected. And that's what this error handling takes care of. And then of course, we need to figure out what's going on with that one that went wrong. Okay, so that was the masterclass on the video upload architecture, okay? I will get into more architecture things later on, but for now, I think we're in a good place. Okay, let us just talk about the AI research now. I think I've had you wait long enough. Let's go back to our application. Let's go to dashboard. So with AI research, there's 2 types of research that I want to utilize here. And this is still under construction because I've found that there are some limitations to Claude Web Search. So now I'm migrating over to Perplexity for my research. But on the broad scale, this is how the AI research actually works. So we start research, we have load research prompts. I'll get into that in just a moment. And then we parallel web searches. This is Perplexity, this is Claude Web Search. And then we also have RSS feeds too, because we need to be, especially if we're a news channel or doing like the latest bleeding edge in our industry, we do need RSS feeds. So we check existing items in Notion. This is what the items are. It will check if on deck we have, in this section, not ready, any topics that are exactly what they're gonna be asking, creating scripts on. Let me explain that a little bit further. So in not ready, the way that I have done this, the way that I have created this YouTube system for my team, is the name of the script is also going to be the very first sentence of that script. So when we say it's not ready, all that means to say is we have the script name, we have the first draft of the script, and a human like me has to come in, review the script, make sure that it's ready to go out the door. I'll just make some tweaks here and there, and then I will switch this status into ready, okay? What this system is doing to make sure that we don't get the exact same topic, which is, in this case, just say, not ready, is ChatGPT actually worth it for my business? This script has already been created. This topic has already been covered. When it goes out and does its research, we don't want the exact same topic. We can use verticals of the topic, but we don't want the exact same topic. And that's what we're doing first. We're gonna check the existing topics that we already have written in Notion. and we're gonna remove the duplicates from the research that we found. We get 150 articles. We've already talked about 50. We're gonna keep the 100, okay? We're gonna process topics in batches. We're gonna generate those hooks from the Quest Hooks framework. And then we are going to create the content outline, which is the shorts outline. I'll go into that in just a few. And then it will complete the script. Once it completes the script, it will store that script into Notion database. So what you see here, all of these scripts right here, these have all been generated by this system. Not all of them are fantastic, but some need a little love. But if we look at, is ChatGPT actually worth it for my business? We know that that's the topic. We have our hook, we have our outline, and then we have our payoff, and then we have where we got the research from. So if we want to go in and say, hey, this topic seems really interesting, but I don't like the angle that the AI took, I can go in to Reddit and then just say, oh, I see, this is how I would do blah, 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 blah. And then if I like it, then I just approve it by saying ready. That's all I do, okay? But what if we have the ability, look at what we want to talk about before we auto-generate those scripts? Well, this is why I specifically created this for the web application, because I was thinking about you guys. I was thinking about you. What do you need? What do you want? And for me, I'm like, let me just get 50 scripts straight up, and then I'll choose like the best 10, right? Not everybody wants to do that. Some people want to generate the scripts and then, generate the topics and then choose the winners. So this is for you guys. All right, so I'm not gonna generate topics, but I'll let you know what it looks like. So we have like AI questions and concerns. For me, we have broad topics. You can choose any prompt, and these are prompts that you've created. So actually, let me just show you what that looks like. If I go into, and I'm gonna go into AI questions over here, AI questions. This is what AI questions for me looks like, okay? AI questions and concerns, educational shorts. Specifically, this is for shorts. It gives me the display name, the description, the example, and then we're gonna be using web search in Claude. And it outlines who I am, what I'm trying to do, what my goal is. So it's who I am and content strategy. And it literally says, my name is Aaron Figueroa. I'm positioning myself as a strategic AI advisor and thought leader for business owners, okay? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then the critical positioning, I am not just answering tech questions. Every answer must tie back to a business impact, ROI, competitive research, risk mitigation. This is kind of my brand. I outline it very clearly here, and then it has a plan for research. I have just recently found out many of these are not supported in web search. Only Reddit seems to be the one that is in web search right now. So I will be transitioning my research method to Perplexity or maybe some other API. But for now, this is what I'm referring to when I choose. So when we do generate a topic, this is what the prompt is. This is what the prompt is. AI questions and concerns, okay? That's what the prompt is, and then you can generate 10. Right now, I'm at my max. I only have 50 available topics to choose from, because if I did over that, then it will be a ridiculous amount of topics. You should probably just reject or approve the ones that the AI is giving you. So in our case, let's just talk about the relevance. Let's go, this has a really high relevance. Oh, by the way, I do have relevance scoring. You know, I'm thinking about you, okay? So this seems to be like a good topic, whatever. Effective context engineering for AI agents, okay? I don't know if this is necessarily great for business owners, but maybe I could find, maybe I just wanna figure out what the script is first and then make some tweaks. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to approve this guy, and it's gonna be ready to generate in just 1 second. Okay, all right. Look at this, produce script. Okay, hold on. If we go into our Notion, let's just make sure this is working. All right, so the last script was today, before this recording. We should see 2 scripts for November 22nd. Okay, now it's processing. So in just a moment, what we should see is 1 script just talking about this AI agent topic. While we wait for that, let's just go back here. We're waiting for this step, store in Notion database. And now the research is complete. If you're able to do this, like I have done, this alone is going to save you 4 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours of research, right? Because prior to this, I was thinking, how do I make my research better? So what I did was more manual. I took an entire prompt like the one I showed you for the AI questions, and I would put it into Claude. And then I would look at Claude and say, okay, these are some good topics. But then I would have to take that topic, open up a new window in Claude, and then say, I need a script based on this topic and this research. So that's like a 2, 3, 4, 5 step process. And by the end, I'm like, this is a lot of work. And I'm basically doing the same thing every single time. If you can train a VA to do this, then you can get it automated. That's all I'm saying. Let me see. Oh, here it goes. Here it goes. In not ready status, we have effective context engineering for AI agents. And look at this. We have a hook. Your AI agent isn't broken, it's drowning in context. Okay, I have a better idea of what it's talking about now. Context windows are limited. 200,000 tokens sounds like a lot until your agent can't remember what it's doing. That's true. So maybe I'll just do like some tweaks over here. Maybe I'll change the payoff over here, because a lot of times the payoffs, I want my I want my audience to have a different payoff than maybe something that's telling me here. And this is an easy fix because as you saw, it's a prompt. So we could just change the prompting to make this even more of a script that we would want out the gate. But right now, this could be like a 80% done short script. And I have tested this, and using the Quest framework hooks, I have been getting over 35, 45% a retention rate on my shorts. Previously, I was getting like 12, 20, whatever the case is. So this has been a game changer. I'm getting thirsty talking. Okay, so we already talked about the hook framework. Let's talk about the research generated flow. You know a little bit about it, but so we generate the topics, we check the research cache, we search trending topics, we extract and filter topics, we store results in cache, we generate the hooks, it chooses the best hook, then it generates the content outline. So the content outline actually looks a little bit like this. Oh, I think it's right here. You're a YouTube content optimization expert based on the following video content, generating an engaging YouTube description and relevant tags. So this is sort of what it uses, but there's another one specifically for the outline. Let me look it up. Outline, right here, this is it. Okay, you're an expert YouTube scriptwriter specializing in 60-second shorts and reels with 90% retention rates. I'm not there yet, guys, but I'm getting there. And then it kind of goes into the script writing principles to follow, the curiosity gaps, the 60-second structure, and what I have chosen to work with is mostly listicle. So I've chosen to do listicle for my auto-generated scripts, but you know, if your format style is a little bit different, all you have to do is just change the prompt. I think it's beautiful. Okay, so I think we've more than covered the AI research part. If I'm not mistaken, I think we've covered it. Okay, let's go to the tricky one, which is the map footage. So map footage, let's talk about it. How does this thing work? Okay, so let me just talk to you about where this frustration came from. I am creating, just say 30 shorts in a day, right? I have one scheduled day to do all of my content. So I break it up. Morning is shorts and then it's long forms in the evening. So with my shorts, that's a lot of footage that I have to go through and manually map in Dropbox, okay? So I'm using Dropbox, I'm not using Google Drive, I'm using Dropbox. And what I found is that I'm pretty much saying what the script name is at the top of my script, or what I'm doing, I might start in the middle of just say a long form script. But the difference is that the words are the same. The words are the same. So can I have AI watch my footage for me, which in this case would be mostly just transcribing that footage and then matching the first 90 seconds to an existing script. So if you remember correctly, I do have in Notion this script available. So I approve this, it's in ready status, we're ready to go. I shoot the script. Now what? We need a raw footage. We need raw footage here. So after we put in raw footage, which is just a link to Dropbox, all we need to do is just match this script to whatever footage is here. We have to find, let me go over here to Dropbox. Dropbox. Yeah, so I mean, we just need to figure out like this name right here. What script does this belong to, right? It's super simple. So what I've been doing is I've just been having Claude look at the footage, transcribe the video, and then match it to the script. And then generate a share link over here, copy link. And then all it does, it goes into my Notion and then it puts the footage right there. Boom. I don't have to do it anymore. Isn't that freaking cool? I'm like super jazzed about this. How does it happen? How does it work? Okay, let's talk about that for a second. All right, so the complete AI footage mapper pipeline. Okay, so we start sorting footage. It queries Notion's sorting status. So right after, literally right after I create any footage, I change this over to sorting status, okay? Once it's in sorting status, what the system is gonna do is it's going to look at the Dropbox folder that I give it. And the folder is all the footage that I have done today. So in this example, let's go back to Dropbox. So I have footage for November 2025, and then I created this new style, because I'm doing a test right here, this new style folder. And I share this folder with, just say if these were 3 videos, I would share that same folder with these 3 videos, okay? It just has a bunch of footage, and just pretend for a moment that this doesn't have all that footage, but like these are all like in this naming convention, .mp4, okay? So I just give it that. I'm like, I have 50 videos today. You tell me what video correlates with what script. That's what it's talking about. So it goes into, it extracts the Dropbox folder links, and then it lists video files in each folder. And then there's a pattern. It just detects the pattern of like raw files versus process files. So a process file is essentially a file that already has a name. It already has a name, so therefore it's gonna skip it. That's all that means, okay? What it's gonna do, just to save us time, is that it's gonna do 2 things. It's only gonna transcribe 90 seconds, okay? And it's gonna transcribe all of the videos at the exact same time. And then it's gonna extract the audio and use Whisper. It doesn't, I don't think it says it here, but it uses OpenAI's Whisper to do that. And then it's just going to do that AI matching with Claude AI. And then it's gonna group and sort it. So if, for instance, we had 2 or 3 parts or takes of the same short, we just don't know which one we're gonna use. It's going to identify that this script has 3 pieces of footage that's attached to this script, and it's gonna create a folder. So in our case right here, it has created this folder, okay? That's what it did, okay? The same thing happens with the single part. If it's only a single part, like this is the only video in this folder that correlates to the script, then it's just going to change only that file name, and then it's just going to copy and paste that link over to the Notion. That's all it's gonna do. It's gonna update the Notion status now from sorting to in progress, so that the video editor knows that he has work on his plate. We also have another automation trigger in Notion itself, not my system, but in Notion itself, where as soon as these statuses change, it does update the video editor. What else? We talked about the parallel transcription architecture. We're just gonna run by this real quickly. So we're using thread pool. It processes all the files in parallel, because otherwise it would take like 5 ever in order to do that. It's using MPEG. It transcribes with Whisper API. It proceeds to the AI matching with Claude. It takes the input transcripts and the scripts, matches it together, and then there's an entire sorting algorithm after that. So let's go over here. Yeah, I think this is the sorting algorithm. So we have the script, like I was saying, script, content from Notion, footage transcripts from Whisper, the analysis happens, and then these are the 4 different ways that we figure out how to match these. So we have the section identification. So part 1 and part 7, they're gonna have different parts of the script. we know that they live in the same script, so we can tell which part it is. The topic alignment, the sequence detection, and the keyword overlap, pretty straightforward. Then we match the results, and then look at this. We match the script title, the part number, the section label, and the coverage estimates. We even have an algorithm here that says with 90% accuracy or confidence, we believe that these two match. But what if we don't find something that matches? Maybe it was just like audio wasn't on or something like that. Well, that just stays the same. It just stays the same. Like, so if we looked at over here, like this was not matched because it's not the same, okay? All right, let's do this. All right, so we briefly talked about the multi-part video organization where it will just organize it into a folder. And then the single part, we talked about that. And this is pattern. Why didn't you guys tell me? I'm misspelling everything today. The file recognition pattern. So essentially, if we are using different types of patterns, so right now I'm on a Sony, but if you used a Canon or something like that, it might come in a different format. It knows what the pattern is, and then it knows that it needs to change that file and also analyze it a little bit differently. So I've also baked that into the system. We might be able to do a demo, but let me just do this right here. So you know what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to take an item that's complete, this reel right here. I already know I've already done this, but we're gonna put this back into sorting. Just for the demo, I'm just gonna show you how this kind of works. All right, let me find this footage right here. So what I'll do here is take this and then I'll just say like CO9999999, right? Okay, so this is the footage. So this is actually living in the November 2025 folder, okay? So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna say, share this, copy this. We're gonna go over to Notion and the raw footage, I'm gonna change this. So now we're at the folder level, okay? This is what we're expecting from this experiment, is that we are going to enter into the folder and it's going to analyze this item right here and it's going to match it to our Notion database, to this script, and then after it finds it, it's going to update the raw footage file and then it will change the sorting status into in progress. That's what we should see. Let's try it out. We might find a bug, who knows? Okay, so let's just start mapping. I should have done this the other way around. I should have done this the other way around where I was walking you through what's going on and I did not get a chance to do that. But if you can see this, this is kind of like the future of where I want the app to go, where it kind of shows me what's going on in the application. Like what's the thought process? How much time do you think that this is going to take, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it looks like it has transcribed 1 out of 6 footage files. So let's see if that's even correct. Yeah, let's go here. So we were expecting, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I see 7. I see 7 files. Okay, look at this. Oh my God. The footage mapping completed successfully. Let's check it. Oh my God. Guys, I think we did it. I think we did it. Is it in progress? Is it in progress? Oh my God, it's in progress. And we know it's in progress because everything else is still intact. Guys, it worked. Now, let's do one more test here. Let's go over here. Oh, really? Hold on. Let's go over here. Oh, interesting. You know what? Part 1 closing call. Oh, interesting, interesting. It looks like, let's just make sure that this is actually working. Okay, so this one has no sound. Let's look at the transcript for a second. Okay, so there you have the entire system. Now, let's just recap what we're looking at here. We're talking about like over 10 different API integrations, AI calls, coordination, tools that are being used, basically being orchestrated just with one click. But there's some other things that I want to touch on while I still have you here. So what I want to touch on is just how difficult it is to build an application like this, right? I think that today we have really cool AI tools to help us, but there are also other expertise and things that you need to know in order for you to like build an application sort of like this, but for production use, like for users to actually use it and have a great experience with it. So I'll just outline some of those other things now. So things like authentication, UI design. As you saw in my application, it doesn't look the best, but it looks okay. But your customers and people who really want to use this really want flawless design. You know, things even as simply as processing views, like people really want to see how long it's going to take them in order to complete a task, as an example. Also, other things too is how to architect a system like this, right? How to architect a system that's not going to cost $1 million, like $1 million, right? So this system that you're looking at, what's really unique about it as of right now is that because it's still like in its infancy, its demo phase, and it's for other people to come in and be a beta tester in, I can get away with a lot. But this app, if I would have built it for production scale just off the bat to everybody, the operating cost of just this, we're not even talking about like 100 users yet. It could easily be like $500 a month or $1,000 a month on just maintaining the infrastructure. So some of the ways that I have chosen to save money on this project, but also have it be just as useful as it is just completely understanding the AWS architecture. So in my case, what I've been doing here is I used a completely serverless architecture. So this is kind of how it looks like. We use Next.js with Vercel because there's a free plan for Vercel and it's extremely generous. So I think it's fantastic. I'm using AWS Cognito for authentication, and it also works incredibly well with all the other AWS tools as well. Then we go into, well, how do I build it, right? Like, where do I keep my secrets? Let me talk about Supabase. Okay, so I'm using Supabase to do a couple of things. Keep track of the jobs that are happening in the backend. So when we do upload a video and the user needs to see what's going on in my video, it's not easy for AWS to just tell you where it is in the process. So the Supabase database helps with keeping track of what's going on in the application, keeping track of credentials, keeping track of also the multi-tenant architecture. Multi-tenant architecture just means that I can use it, you can use it, and someone we don't know down the block can use this application and nobody's work gets affected, okay? So that's another thing. That's why I used that database. Let's talk about the Lambdas. So we have API gateway plus Lambdas, right? For serverless architecture, because we don't necessarily at this point need an instance running all the time, not all the time. Okay, so I think for this, it's good enough to use CDK, API gateway, Lambdas, and let's say ECS Fargate. So what we're thinking about in this architecture, if we had to put it into perspective, is that we have a Lambda, which is our API endpoint. We're going to send a message to the API gateway. It's going to trigger SQS. Oh, I think it's backwards. I think this is backwards. SQS gets triggered, and then that triggers the ECS worker. This is specifically if you're a developer. This is the way that I would position this, this application right now. And instead of using something expensive like Secrets Manager in AWS, I will use SSM parameters. So in this application, the SSM parameters is what's storing all of the Supabase credentials. And then when somebody is logging into our system, they're getting authenticated through Cognito and Supabase. That middle layer where it keeps a secret for at least that Supabase key is SSM parameter. And all of our secrets are gonna be stored in SSM parameter or Supabase, because we just wanna keep it the cheapest as we possibly can when we are trying to build a SaaS product. So that's enough of the technical talk, but this is just a high overview of how I was able to build this AI content management system that, honestly speaking, if I had to charge for this system alone, it would be easily $70,000. I mean, we're talking about easily $70,000. I think it would be a lot more because of all the error handling scenarios and the tweaking, and it's basically a SaaS product. It's just an untested SaaS product. But anyway, I would love to know what your thoughts are. If you found any value in this conversation, just hit me up on the comments. Just tell me what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't really care. Just hit me up. If you want me to build something like this for you, your team, you could just come over to wildfiregrowth.ai and book an appointment. If you are just, if you're a student of AI technology and you want to be a developer, you can hop over to our free school academy. It's called AI Ops, school.com/AI Ops. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you.